to 4.
Welcome to the Doug Bailey Radio Show. Here's Doug Bailey.
On the phone, Tesla drummer Troy Luccketta. Troy, welcome.
Well, thank you, Doug. I appreciate that.
And you guys are, with Tesla, you guys are no strangers to Des Moines. But first and foremost, I want to start off with the last time I talked to you, you guys had just wrapped up the Des Moines show with Def Leppard and REO Speedwagon back in 2017, April 2017. And I had went after the show. The whole floor was cleared out. In fact, most of the arena was cleared out. I grabbed a set list, and my wife and I were having our picture taken with the set list and the stage behind us when you came up and photobombed us.
That would probably be me.
And I thought that was cool. I mean, to me, it's almost like, are you the jokester of the band? You're the one that likes to maybe play practical jokes and just be the life of the band?
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but I do have a little bit of fun out here, and I don't take it that serious, that's for sure.
Well, I thought it was hilarious. You didn't have much of a chance to talk because you guys were heading out, but I thought it was really cool. The time you did spend, the couple 3 minutes you did spend to chat with me. But as I said, Tesla, no stranger to the Metro. In fact, I remember when your Into the Now CD came out back in, what was it, I think 2003, 2004?
Correct.
You guys rehearsed here in Des Moines on like a Wednesday night. The tour, I believe, kicked off in Minneapolis on a Saturday night. And you guys, we hosted you in here for, I believe, Rockline out of California. It wasn't even broadcast here in our city or in our state, but we had you guys in the studio for Rockline. So you guys have just done a lot with us over the years. So first and foremost, we appreciate it.
Well, hey, man. Dude, you know how it is. Without the we, there is no me, baby. So back at you.
So, Troy, how's things going with Tesla? I mean, how are you guys going out there?
We're doing great. We played our fourth show last night. We just finished 2 shows here in Chicago at the House of Blues. Got a day off here in Chicago. We're headed to St. Louis. We're just getting started for this year. As you know, the new records drop in March 8th. And, so we're playing a couple songs in the set, and we're digging deep with some deep cuts, and we're having a lot of fun.
And we just debuted the title track to Shock here in the last few minutes on the 4 o'clock haircut. Can you kind of tell the listeners kind of what they can expect with the new album?
Yeah, first of all, Phil Collen from Def Leppard produced the record. So the first thing I like to tell people is this is a different record, okay? And that depends on who you are as a listener. For hardcore Tesla fans, some of them are, the first thing they hear with Shock is a drum machine, so it shocks them.
And that was the same thing I thought too, Troy, when I heard the first part of the song. It's like, the start of it sounds a little more modern.
Well, I mean, it is. So anyway, that's the only song with the drum machine on the record, but it happens to be the first single, so people don't know what to think. And Phil Collen produced it, and the way they work, I mean, their records are programmed. No, I'm playing on the whole record. Live, we've always been a band of no machines, so we don't use any of the drum machine. I play everything live. I just make up my versions of what that is, and it's working. Seems to be working pretty good. And right now we're having fun. I mean, it was a record that Phil Collen produced. It's got some Leppardish overtones throughout the record that you'll hear. That's because he co-wrote and plays and sings on the record with us. And he's kind of like the fifth Beatle on this thing. So I like to make it really clear to the listeners that everybody knows who Tesla is, and that's who we still are. We had fun. We gave Phil carte blanche to do what he wanted with this record. We took his direction. And, sometimes, I can even hear. And, so in all fairness to some of the things I've seen, the people that maybe aren't on board right away with what they're hearing, maybe for those people, I say just take it light, man. We know who we are. We know what we're doing. We're still Tesla. You can come out and see still the same band. Are we going to change everything about what we're doing? No, we'll always be Tesla. We'll always be true. But this is a record that we did give Phil carte blanche to do what he wanted, and we took direction. And we had a fun time, and there's some great, great, great songs on this record. and it's a great record. But the one thing that might strike fans and concerns that I've seen is the Leppardish overtones. But it's Phil Collen. What do you want?
Well, you guys have been out with Def Leppard for the past few years on tour, and you guys, my understanding is you guys are all good friends. So I could see maybe a little bit of Def Leppardish, Phil Collinish rub off on the album, but it's still the same Tesla. I mean, you guys still have the same hard rock sound, and so Tesla fans are going to hear that, right?
Absolutely. And if we went in with Stephen Jones from the Sex Pistols, I'm sure we'd get a little punk edge to us. You know what I'm saying?
Punk Tesla. I've never thought about Punk Tesla. Maybe a cover of Punk, your favorite Punk songs?
Maybe that's the route next record, or who knows? We're just having a good time, man. We're just having a wonderful time, giving something, and the fact that people are talking about it, controversial or not, I think is great. If you think it sucks, right on, tell us about it.
Maybe on the road, maybe you guys can work up something when you hit Des Moines with a punk song, maybe a Sex Pistols song. Who knows?
We just do God Save the Queen and just call it a day.
On the phone, Troy Luccketta, drummer from Tesla. Of course, Tesla out on March 8th with their long-awaited new album called Shock. Of course, you just heard the title track on the 4 o'clock haircut. And Troy, I talked to Frank Hannon and Brian Weed in the past few months as we were waiting for this album to come out. What was the delay? I've had some of my listeners ask me what the delay was on this album.
It's always the record company. It's always scheduling and we signed with Universal Music, and they have our catalog, and yeah, like I thought it was coming out earlier, then the dates got pushed back. It is what it is. We just kind of roll with their program. They do their setups, and hopefully something that they've made a decision in the pipeline makes sense, because, I mean, everything's so different today. I was so blown away when I seen the release dates for the singles. I mean, they're weeks apart. I mean, what's up with that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We used to make records, and, you get some mileage out of the record, and you put a new track out, and, a few months down the road, you might put another track out, but things are a lot different today. So, yeah, man, it was their call. That's all I can tell you.
And that was something I was going to ask you. I'm looking at the list, the title list here. You've got 12 songs on the album, and I know some bands today, some artists, some bands today have decided, you know what? We're going to put out onesies, twosies, threesies. We're not putting out an entire album. Was that your thinking going in? Maybe we should only put out 1 or 2 songs here, 1 or 2 there, or let's just go full bore and let's release an entire album.
Well, you know what? We did it with this record. Moving forward, who knows? Maybe we'll fall into something like that. I have no idea. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing records. I don't know, man. Just kind of going with the climate right now, and we know are making records, and that's what we've done. Nothing else has been suggested outside of what we've done so far.
Or nobody has told you either way, right?
Right.
Troy Luccketta on the phone, drummer from Tesla. We're talking about the new album, Shock. It's out in stores and online on March 8th. Of course, a long-awaited album. Now, I asked Frank and Brian both this question in the last few months when I was interviewing them before the last time you guys were here. And I want to ask you, all the Tesla fans have their favorite Tesla songs they want to hear every time they see you guys. For you, what is a song or 2 or 3 songs that you say, this has to be on the set list. We've got to play this, and I love thoroughly playing this every night?
Well, I mean, that song wouldn't always be on a Tesla set list if you only have 40 minutes to open for Def Leppard. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, the song would be, for me, as a staple of just what I like. I mean, the song What You Give, for me, it's just a nice classic Tesla song. It's just, it doesn't always make the set because it could bring the set down. When you got 40 minutes, you only got so much time to play it. If you've got Love Song in there, you're already down. You know what I'm saying? For a ballad-ish type song. But that song for me has always been a classic song that I'd always like to see in the set,
Anybody who loves Tesla loves, I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me, I love What You Give. I love playing it. I love listening to it, especially live. And with Frank coming out there on guitar, I mean, it's just, it may be somebody may say it might bring you down. I think it brings me up. I love the song.
Well, no, and it does, but I'm just saying it's a mid-tempo, slower song. That's what I mean with the set list, bringing the set down as far as energy. So if you're already doing love song and then you do another, so, when you're doing 90 minutes, it's not a problem. But if you're doing 40 minutes, it's not going to make the set.
I'm looking over the tour schedule. Of course, tomorrow night you guys are in St. Louis, and you head over to Indy on February 9th. But then I look down, and I see you guys are hitting the big C's, Jamaica, Ochos, Rios. You guys are on a nice Monsters of Rock cruise. Have you ever been on one of those before?
Yeah, we've done 6 of them.
And how is that on there? I mean, are you guys playing all the time? Do you get still a chance to talk to listeners and stuff like that?
We hang out with everybody on the ship. That's what we do. Yeah, we don't separate ourselves from anybody. That's how tough it is. That's why I think they really like us on the band. They bill us as the headliner. There's a lot of great bands on there, for that music that people love, the 80s music. You can come out and catch 40 bands.
That's right.
It's one big party. But, no, we don't separate ourselves and stay in our rooms. We go out and mingle and hang out, man.
And my wife and my family and I just got back from a cruise, so maybe people are on that ship can expect to see you guys sitting by the poolside, maybe in the hot tub, maybe at the bar.
Absolutely, all those places.
If I was on there, I'd love to sit back and hear some of the stories from the road from you guys, and that's another question for another day. But one of the things I found out that I did not realize is, and I may not get the time frame right, but you're, 25 years sober? Is that correct?
I am 25 years sober. That is correct.
And you've got something that's called, I believe, TroyShowsUp.com. Can you let the listeners know what this is all about?
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning that because, so what happened, a buddy of mine, he asked me this last year to go and speak at a high school, which turned into a middle school of about 750 kids. And he asked me if I'd go talk to them about drugs. And since I'm 25 years sober, I said, sure, what would you like me to do? He says, well, if you could play for about 20 minutes, bring some drums, and then maybe, do a presentation for about 20 minutes, and then do about 20 minutes of question and answer. So I said, sure. We set the date. I went and I did the school. I documented it. I brought in the cameras and everything. And it started this program called TroyShowsUp.com because now I'm speaking in high schools and middle schools and even elementary schools. In the elementary schools, it'll be a lot lighter, and it just has to do more with people-pleasing, the bad choices we make around it, and then the other middle school and high school stuff is people-pleasing, drugs, and overcoming addiction. So there's not a whole lot I can't talk about or share about. I have a lot of experience in all those areas. Especially the people-pleasing thing. I think everybody can kind of relate to that, making bad choices, because we just feel the peer pressure, So that's really what the program is, and it's something you're probably going to see a lot of. I'm going to be doing lots of schools. I'm going to pretty much say yes to everything I can. I've got a guy that just came out with me this last week. We were supposed to do a show, one here in Chicago, Nathan Hale Middle School, that got canceled because of the weather. But we're coming back to do the makeup date, March 18th. And with that being said, I learned with him a lot more about what we can do and how we're going to get this thing out and follow the bus and try to show up for as many schools as we can. So that's the idea.
And it's TroyShowsUp.com. And as you said, we've all been there. I mean, we've had the peer pressure, whether it's in junior high, high school, college, in our normal life. Are you seeing things a lot more clear ever since you decided that sober is the way to go?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I've done a lot of journaling, so part of the things I've done in my journaling, I've learned a lot more about myself. And one of the things I just learned, even out here being on the road, I mean, I'm going to just cut the chase right down to my band. I mean, I've been in a band for, 30-something years with these guys. We're on the same bus. I still find myself at times doing the people-pleasing thing. And I just stopped at this tour. When I came out here, I thought, screw that. I'm done with it, man. If there's a problem, let's talk about it. Let's not just kind of smooth. Let's keep this thing moving, and let's stay accountable, and let's factor it in. If everybody wants to do this, let's do it. If we don't want to do it, let's go home. I mean, it's just that simple. And if you're not going to give 150, then let's just go home. But everybody is on the same page. It's working, and I realized that for me, where I'm at in my life, and I didn't know it until I got out here on this tour, it just feels so good. There's so much freedom. and just being yourself and not walking on eggshells and worrying about this or that, and that, So, and nobody's changed anything that they're doing. They're all the same people. It's really me, and that's what I've learned, since I started this, doing this thing. I'm like, holy moly, man, I still better look at myself in the mirror and say, what's going on here? What am I doing? So I'm learning more about it. I'm sharing about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about the guy that just said, hey, shock sucks. It's all good, man. Everybody has an opinion and a thought, and all of those thoughts and opinions are okay.
And I think that's what makes this country great, is everybody can have their own opinion, and the powers that be aren't telling us what we should think.
No, and nor it should be, and I'm not going to tell you or what to do. And as far as the left and the right goes, look, man, there's middle ground. Everybody work together. Everybody figure it out. I'm not going left. I'm not going right. There's good things on both sides of that fence. Let's figure it out. Let's move forward, and let's just cut through the crap.
I am looking over the latter parts of the schedule here for you guys on tour. I see a Kansas City show, which is 3 hours south of us. I don't see a Des Moines show, but if there happens to be one that materializes during the school year, is it something we could try and maybe get you to? My son is a senior in high school. Maybe get you to his high school or a local high school that you can talk about kids, because people that are in our position, whether it's broadcast or it's music or whatever, a lot of kids look up to us and to you. I mean, I'm speaking in generality here, and maybe that's the voice from you or me or whoever can get through to kids that are maybe on the fence or could be maybe ready to make that wrong choice, and maybe they don't make that wrong choice.
It's a fact. That's a fact, and that's what this is. This is a platform for me to go out and do things. And look, at the kids are having a good time. If you go look at what I'm doing when Troy shows up, you'll see I bring a drum kit. Everybody's involved. We're having a good time. We get down, I talk, they listen. I'm transparent. I'm not above them. I'm just somebody who's just sharing my story, and I'm just saying, look, I made all the bad choices. I've been where you're at. I get it, and that peer pressure, and now we've got so many things to deal with social media, cyberbullying, and all that stuff that's going on. It's all real, man, and it's real for these kids. When you're young, it's everything, and so absolutely.
They see that you're one of them, really.
Absolutely, I am one of them. And it doesn't matter whether I did good, bad, or indifferent. I mean, you could be a straight A student, but we're all going to be faced with choices, and as we climb up the ladder of success, what is success? Maybe it's just being to thy own self be true, making good choices, not selling out, because now at this time I've got this job opportunity, but I got to go over here and cut my best friend's throat. So I don't know if I'm going to take that job, because I think I'm going to leave that one alone. Whatever the case might be. It factors in all facets of life. So it's not just related to drugs. It's not just related to one particular avenue, so to speak. It is what it is. Now, we're all out here trying to figure out, do life, climb the ladder of success, and what is the ladder of success? I think it's really just being comfortable in your own skin and truly being able to make the right choice and not feel that pressure.
That's right. TroyShowsUp.com. Check it out for your journey as far as being sober now for 25 years. Troy Luccketta, drummer from Tesla, on the phone right now. Troy, I appreciate the time. Shock, of course, you just heard it a few minutes ago, and it's an awesome song. We can't wait for the album released on vinyl, on CD, digitally, everything like that on March 8th. So, Troy, out on the road with Tesla. Hopefully we get a date in Des Moines. I don't see one on the schedule right now, but I think you can make that happen, right?
I think we can. And as far as the school goes, talk to Jody. You can, on TroyShowsUp.com, there's a request form. We answer that stuff. We're looking at it. We're putting dates together. We're routing. We're figuring this stuff out. So just FYI.
Troy, thanks a lot. We can't wait for the new album. It is Shock, as of course I said, released on March 8th. Troy, thanks a lot for your time this afternoon. Safe travels. Great show in Chicago tonight, hopefully for you. And we will see you on the flip side.
You got it, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Doug Bailey Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform.